Hey everybody, welcome back to the RapChat Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Dick.
I'm Elias Eldridge.
I'm Sam Kenny.
And welcome back. So before we jump into the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts, make sure to leave us a rating and review. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at RapChat Podcast, where we post new clips of the show every week. And also some memes every once in a while. I have to shout out the meme that I made about
Shout out Kuzma.
Bro, I got to get myself one of those Thneeds, man. The Thneeds are the new...
You called it a Theed at first. I just switched the name to Thneed.
Did it?
I made autocorrection for you.
Did it? Oh,
yeah,
I thought... I specifically tried to type Thneed.
I noticed you pretty fast, so I edited it.
Do you think Kyle Kuzma handed it?
Well, yeah. Oh,
his Theed?
He did?
What?
No, I don't. Do you think he handed it?
Oh, no chance. No
what?
chance.
He hand-knitted his
hand-knitted it? It looks
No
like
chance.
it. But a lady who commented on a... is followed by one of the pages that pins our comments every once in a while.
Oh,
so,
for real?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
nice.
it's pretty cool.
Nice.
She thought it was pretty funny, so that was nice. But anyways,
Who didn't think it was funny, though? Let's be real.
Yeah.
no cap. Because obviously I'm a meme god. But anyways,
Yeah.
what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So the structure of today's podcast. So before we head into the podcast, the structure of today's podcast will be game recaps. But bear with us, guys, because we're still figuring out this 2-episode-a-week thing. And, you know, there's going to be changes here and there. And like we just talked about, this episode might be shorter, under an hour or something like that.
Might be a little messy for the first few weeks.
Yeah, just so we
out.
can kind of get on our feet. And we're playing around with a bunch of ideas. But rest assured, you guys will still get a podcast on Monday and a podcast on Thursday.
Yep.
So anyways, we're going to take you through the game recaps. Then we're going to there's only one. Then we're going to move on to Performer of the Week. Then we'll move on to questions for each other. And then we'll move on to looking ahead. So that's what you guys can expect throughout this podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, of course, you can see that down below. Okay, so... all right.
Get right into it?
Yeah, let's go right into it. So game recap, we got Sam.
All right. One game this week. It was the Raptors were in San Francisco, not Oakland anymore, to play the Warriors on Sunday. No OG and Yuta again for this one.
I forgot they changed their arena name from
Chase.
Oracle to Chase.
It's a new arena.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why. It was like, the Oracle.
You alwaz think of Oracle when you think.
Yeah, then I was like,
Well,
oh,
they
wait,
changed the
not.
freaking
It's been
LA,
changed like
LA
two-
Lakers
Right,
from the
the
Staples
crypto.
Center to the
Crypto.com
Crypto.com
arena.
The arena. Like, what kind of name is
That does
that?
not fly for tongue at all. Like Staples Center rolls
Like,
off.
even Crypto Arena
That's what
would
they
be
should've
better.
called it.
Yeah, but
wouldn't-
Crypto.com arena.
I know, sorry.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, game starts off not great. There was no offensive movement. And the Warriors, they're the best team in the league. I think they're the best on paper. I think they're the best team
But
overall.
also, yes.
Anyway,
What's their record right now? Something stupid. They've only lost
15-2.
15-2. Wow.
Yeah, and
Can you believe they had a 73-9 season?
I know.
Isn't that
and
incredible?
both their losses this year. One's been overtime, and one was a really close loss.
Well, you know what's
And no
interesting
Klay
though
Thompson yet.
is that and sorry, I just want to mention this now before I forget it later. But there was a lot of talk in the league about that people were sleeping on the Warriors because they were missing a lot of guys, and it's like Curry is still just as good, man.
Yeah,
and a lot of the same guys are still on the team, and
They've got a really good structure. And it just
But also to be fair, like it was 2 years ago, they were the worst record in the league.
Oh yeah,
And they had, but Curry was
that
injured
is so
like over half the year.
circumstantial,
But
right?
yeah,
Like,
there's so many
definitely,
injuries, and
Yeah.
there's a lot.
So you can't take that at face value.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Raptors started off just really slow. The Warriors were, I think, jumped to a 20-point lead at one point in the first. The guards really struggled on offense throughout the whole thing, but especially in that first quarter. Fred and Gary at one point were a combined 1 for 10. Threes just weren't falling for the Raptors. There wasn't a bunch of offensive movement. And then to couple that, the defense was really bad. Draymond, most of the game was played 4-on-4 because Curry and Van Vliet were kind of tied to each other. And Draymond was just picking us apart. Andrew Wiggins was absolutely unreal this game. He always kills the Raptors. He finished 6 for 8 from 3 for 32 points.
All corner threes too.
Yeah,
Wow.
and out in transition, Draymond was pushing the ball and they were getting out. And it was 36-24 Warriors after the first. Second quarter, still bad defensive communication. No Fred and Pascal on the court, and our bench unit with Svi and Boucher really got. They looked young. Like all game, we looked young. And that's to say the Warriors do have some young guys, but they are run by Draymond and Steph, who are two really smart veterans, and I feel like they're always like a step ahead of us all game.
Yeah.
Like they got out to that big lead, and the game was kind of within 12 points the rest of the way.
For we got every time we get to 10 points in the fourth quarter, they just get hit 2 threes.
Jordan Poole or Wiggins or Otto Porter would nail a 3.
Jordan Poole, how many points did he have?
20 something.
33.
33. Yeah.
33.
So shout out to my friend Riley Seaborn. He plays basketball right now at Briarcrest College. One of my friends. I told him I'd have to shout him out because his favorite player is Jordan Poole.
Oh,
and
it's a really obscure.
He kind of looks like the white version of Jordan Poole, to be honest.
It's a really
especially
obscure.
with the little mustache. But
It's a really obscure favorite player.
yeah, I told you I'd have to shout you out, Riley, and you're right. Yeah, I knew you. Yeah, Jordan Poole cooked us.
He did.
Yeah. There were some positive things in that second quarter. I liked how. Draymond's defense he's probably one of the best. Well, he is one of the best defenders of this generation. I liked how Pascal handled his own against him in the half court, even though it wasn't pretty. And I did like how Delano Banton played in that, all game. But his first stint in the half court was really, really nice.
They actually, funny enough, but and he was hitting shots too.
Yeah, he had 3
3
pull-up jumpers this game.
which is crazy.
Yeah,
but
like Sean Livingston.
Yeah.
they actually had a little bit of a harder time trying to guard him.
Yeah,
because
I just weren't expecting it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Is they had a. But sorry, I should save this for the game thoughts. Anyway, sorry, my bad.
And I liked how he was hunting out Precious in the half court, and this was a game where the score was a big deficit, but there were positives to take from it. But the Raptors were still down 61-47 at the half. Third quarter, we came out strong. Pascal came out and hit 2 nice threes, but the Warriors were always right there. Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins both hit multiple threes to start that third quarter, just to silence whatever momentum we had coming out of the break. And I think a big issue was, issue and positive was Fred was using so much energy to stop Steph Curry, and he did such an amazing job. Curry finished the game with 12 points on 2 of 10 shooting and 4 turnovers. Yeah, and 1 3. And that was all Fred VanVleet. Well, the scheme, but also Fred VanVleet was just awesome on him. But I think that showed in his offense. He looked really tired. He didn't have the legs. And if guys like Gary Trent and Scotty aren't stepping up to fill in that secondary role, then you're really going to see an impact on the offensive end.
Like I'd rather though that happen, and we'd hope. Like I'd rather Fred be out of the game offensively, but block up Steph Curry defensively.
Especially because now we can start depending a little bit more on some other guys to create offensively.
But then Gary's didn't step up this game.
No, tough game.
We'll get into that because I think I have not a theory, but a little bit to say about that.
Okay. To end the third quarter, there was a really fun stretch where Scotty hit a 3, had an and 1 layup, missed the free throw, and then hit another 3, and then had a really nice pass and semi-transition to Pascal into the basket. I really liked how Scotty's been finding Pascal for baskets the last few games, whether it be a 3 or a cut inside. I think it's kind of, we've seen where Scotty's scoring has gone down the last few games, but his assists have gone up. He's had 3 straight games with 5 or more assists, and a lot of those are dump offs or he's finding Pascal. And I really like that connection right now.
And even not just assists, but just the fact he's just passing. We can still see him passing when looking for a little more.
Yeah.
Which I still want to be aggressive scoring wise, but it's nice to see that he's doing that.
Yeah, and then after 3, we were down 92-77. And then we come out of the third quarter with a lineup of Delano Banton, Malachi Flynn, Svi, Chris Boucher, and Precious. While the game was still, this was the time to make a run if you were going to make a run. And we went out with an all-bench lineup of all guys I wouldn't trust to run an all-bench lineup. And I was extremely confused, even though I thought a lot of those guys had good individual games. I just don't understand the point of that. Fred came alive, though, in the fourth. He hit some big threes. The game was cut to 10 at one point. Fred continuing his trend of hitting big threes in the fourth quarter. He had 2 in this one. But then, once again, the trend of the game. It was a 10-point game with 7 minutes to go, but Draymond's defense was amazing, and the Raptors just were playing catch-up all night. The Warriors always had an answer. Their supporting players, I think they hit 22 threes for the game, the Warriors. They finished 22 for 45.
It was the most threes hit against the Raptors in the Raptors history.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it wasn't Curry doing it.
It's a statement.
Yeah, it wasn't Curry. Curry had one of
Curry
those.
wasn't even
22.
doing it.
Yeah, and the Raptors ended up losing this one, 119-104.
I'll take that. I'll take that, to be honest.
Oh yeah, no,
I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought there was a lot of positives to take from this one.
Yeah, there definitely was.
I thought a lot of the off games weren't necessarily they were just cold shooting nights. You know what I mean? Gary Trent Jr. isn't going to hit. It's okay to have a bad night and he just missed shots. And I'm okay with a guy. I'm never going to get mad at a guy for missing shots. I like the process of how they're getting the shots.
Especially at 22.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He's been amazing all year.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
like
man.
his first bad game.
I'm not he had a bad game. Like I don't. My one thing though was, I mean, I feel like we've talked about this every single podcast for the last 3 weeks, but so the defense, I was actually okay with how the idea of the scheme, because I think you need to shut down Steph Curry.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with
No.
a huge hole in the defense today.
It was the communication. It's such a complicated thing to do, which is why the Warriors are so good, because they have players that make things complicated.
Especially when you're trying to do a very complicated defensive set with guys who are, to be honest, I think still trying to
get their feet wet and
trying to feel it, because not only are they developing as players, but they're also developing as a team.
Yeah.
So it's difficult then to see I know you had a concern about the lineups, and I remember what is Delano doing out there with Precious and with all these new guys. There's no one out there on the floor, but at the same time I'm like, okay, well, if you are thinking big picture, right, and long down the season, it's good to get these reps between these guys this early in the season, rather than waiting till games, after the break, in the second half of the year, to get a flow going between those guys.
I think the bigger problem is just the timing of it, where we're in the start of the fourth quarter with that lineup was kind of weird.
That was really, I didn't
if they put that lineup out in the middle of the third quarter, middle of the second quarter, then but they put it at the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is I think that Nick Nurse might be trying to do that to push them. You know what I mean?
We're not winning this game. Let's just get some guys some reps.
I think, and I don't want to say that Nick Nurse knows he's going to lose the game, but if you got to think, you have to think realistically and strategically as a coach in that game. He's like, I think he knows we can get there and we can be one of the best teams in this league, but we have so many other things we have to work on right now, and I think he's trying to push them. Even what we saw with one of the reasons why I think we saw a beef with Nick and Pascal was because Nick was trying to push him. You know what I mean? That's something that Nick does. Is everyone says he does a very good job at trying to get people out there and motivated.
I do this things. Low key in the back of my theory about Nick Nurse, that he kind of goes into the season knowing if we're not going to win a championship, then let's play around with it. Let's not aim for this many wins. Let's just aim for what we want to look like when we make our championship build.
Right? Yeah, what we do this year might help us 3 years down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what you're saying
they're
is
not putting a fire under Nick Nurse's ass. There's no way.
They just gave him a contract extension.
I'm very happy with that too. I love Nick Nurse. And a lot of things is questionable, like what you just said with the lineup going to the fourth quarter, and I thought that was questionable too. But also, I think Nick Nurse might have this kind of very long term looking ahead scheme where. We all know the Raptors roster right now is not a championship roster.
Yeah.
Barring any crazy jumps by any player or trade or anything like that.
The
roster we have right now is not supposed to build to win a championship. And Nick Nurse is not stupid. Masai is not stupid. They know that. Yeah. They know that. Wasn't their goal this season. Their goal is to get better and better,
Yeah.
So I think
it's one of the reasons wwhy I don't think it's extremely necessary that we have a traditional center this season.
That's one thing.
Yeah, it's not worth messing with.
But continue with your points.
Yeah, I think when they're rolling out these weird labs, Nick Nurse doing these weird things that make it seem like, well, that's kind of not going to help us win the game.
Right.
But it's well, that can help us in the future.
Yeah, that's why I don't get extremely frustrated watching the Raptors, because my whole idea when I watch them is that I know that every guy out there is good, even Justin Champagny, who's the last person we're gonna put out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't want to say even Justin Champagny as if he sucks.
But he's a two-way guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what I'm saying is that I still think the Raptors have the deepest bench in the NBA. We play all of our players, almost every single one. Mm-hmm. And when Utah comes back, we're gonna be playing him too.
I think Nurse also. I think a lot of coaches don't think. I think Nick Nurse thinks like a GM also, where he thinks
totally.
Because I think him and Masai work a lot together. Him and Bob Webster too.
Yeah.
They know who they're gonna trade and who they're not gonna trade and things like that. So I think
it's a direct line of communication.
Yeah,
it has to be. Yeah.
I think, and I kind of think that Nick Nurse thinks as a coach like that, where he's like, this guy is going to be more important. I think with Malachi Flynn, maybe if he gets traded, that's why he's playing Delano more. Because he thinks, well, both these guys can't be on the roster forever, And I think Banton's better from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
So play Banton more.
I was really pleased with what I saw Delano do, because my big thing I think I said it last podcast or the one before, was that his half court, he's really just out
non-existent.
Handing the ball off.
Yeah.
And in this one, he was actually making a real effort. He was pulling up for jumpers, but he was actually he was getting into the middle of the paint, making passes. And I loved
being aggressive.
And I love how him and Precious played together. I thought Precious played within himself. Thought his defense was really nice.
Precious had a really good game.
And I thought, both of his games so far, the one against Sacramento last week.
Yep.
Where both like he really just did his role, rolled, went to the rim.
He was a positive guy at the bench,
just
and like all
played a
season he's
role.
been a negative guy.
Yeah, and that was I liked what I saw to both of them. One of my other things was I think this was like Scotty's sort of welcome to the NBA moment going against Draymond Green.
No,
Because Draymond Green is that guy who's like, he goes into the game, like, first of all, he's one of the smartest guys in the league. So he knows everything about you. And he also goes in knowing, like, okay, I am stopping this guy. First of all, he stops the entire team because he's one of the best off-ball defenders. But I just think he was always just kind of a bit ahead of Scotty, and he got into Scotty's head a little bit on both ends.
I think he did it on purpose, too.
Oh, yeah.
He knows
of
he's a
course.
rookie. He knows he's like the number one rookie in the league.
And he knows how to do it.
Draymond knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Scotty, like Draymond always just knew when to push it a little bit to get Scotty on his heels, or he couldn't.
To be honest, I like that. A good push him.
Great.
Yeah, like
Yes.
make Scotty better.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you
it's
know
only
what
going to
I
make him
mean?
better.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
And I just thought, like, I mean, because I'm a big Draymond Green fan, so I liked seeing, and I liked that Scotty bounce back in that third quarter, hitting those. He wasn't scared to take the 2 threes. And then
That means he recognized what he knew he had to do.
Yeah, he knows, like, okay, I've got to, because right now we're running a lot through Pascal and Fred. I need to step out. I need to give them space so they can operate, even though he's still not going to get respected from there. It's just, you need that a little bit in the back of the mind. So maybe when Pascal drives, after Scotty hits 2 threes, the help is a little bit later, right? So I loved seeing that confidence, and I liked the way he bounced back after a really shaky first half.
Yeah, and to be honest, Scotty as a potential very good 3-point shooter is not out of the realm of possibility.
Look at OG.
All.
We talked about this before. OG was not a 3-point shooting game into the league, and now look at him. Pascal was a 3-point shooting game.
Pascal's
into the
legs were reversed when he used to shoot threes.
Yeah,
Unlike,
he'd shoot with his left leg forward.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah, now
No, I used to do that in middle school. I was
yeah,
I had
but
to
that's
fix
what you
that.
learn to do when you're like a little kid, maybe trying to get more.
You shoot with your right. If
or
you're right, you
son-
shoot your right foot forward.
But
No, I would go in middle school. I'd go right left instead of left right shoot.
Wait, I
Right.
go.
Well,
I go
you're
left.
opposite,
shoot
yeah.
backwards.
I go
but-
left, right.
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah.
but
Unless I'm turning the corner, then I go right, left. But my left foot's always in front.
Yeah. My left would be in front when I'm shooting right. That's the thing I had to fix. But anyway.
yeah. Then my one other thing was the Warriors really, their offense is this goes into the Gary Trent and Scotty. Their offense is very predicated on ball movement, cutters. There's not a lot of pick and roll or ISO, like almost none, unless Curry gets a big on the switch. And Gary Trent, well, this isn't a criticism at all, because like seeing how he's improved as an on-ball defender has been like, I've got no worries that he's not going to improve as an off-ball defender.
Yeah.
But I thought his off-ball defense did get exposed a bit this game, but I'm also like, he came out. You can tell he worked on it all last summer. So I'm not worried that he's not going to work on it.
The Warriors' defense is pretty freaking good.
Oh,
man.
it's
like
amazing.
You know, it's it was really interesting to watch because when you think of the Warriors, you don't necessarily think of their defense, but man,
You forget how good it is.
Yeah, it's the thing. The thing is that they have so much offensive creation that you don't really expect them to be a very good defensive team because they don't really need to be a very good defensive
And
team.
Even just the names on their roster, like just Draymond, obviously. But outside of that, like Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, these aren't guys who think defenders.
But they're
Yeah,
also not
no,
minuses. That's
but
the
they're not
biggest thing.
exactly.
Like I guess
They
their
all
worst
want- they all
defender.
wanna do it,
Yeah,
too.
their worst defenders would be like Bielitsa and Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
But even them,
Even
they're
Jordan
like,
Poole wasn't that bad.
yeah, they're not even like that bad. And like Draymond just like makes up for so many mistakes. Just like watching him, just calling out. He's always calling out everything.
Yeah.
And I think it really, for a Raptors team that like needs to get into the paint.
See, that's one thing I wish Pascal did more is the creation for other teammates. Like
I liked how he played in this game though. I thought
Me
I
too.
thought
He played better than I thought.
Yeah, I thought he really like handled the bad defense. Like I mean the hard defense. Like I thought he was our best player tonight.
I think I predicted 11 points
Yeah.
and 4 for 13 shooting.
No, but like I
It's a little
didn't.
better
I don't
than
think he took any shots that were like he
No,
needed to take tough shots because it's a good
Yeah.
defense that
Yeah.
forces you to take tough
But
shots.
there's, I
and
think
he
it's-
made some.
I think it was his first bucket of the game, which was down low, and it was like a step through with his
Yeah.
left. And I was like, that's literally the Pascal.
That's a really
That's the type
nice
of
move.
shot he'd take on his All-Star year.
Yeah.
You know, and he didn't do that last year.
Right.
Last year he was just trying to shoot a bunch.
Yeah,
So I really like seeing
and his
that.
3-point shot like still looks
Yeah,
really
he's-
nice.
yeah, his
Three for
3-point
6.
shooting has
Like,
looking very. It's looking
looked
much better.
throughout
Yeah.
the like entirety of
last
his
year,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know what is? It's not even it's the confidence that he shoots it with too. You
Yeah,
can
he looks
see
much more confident.
he's ready to take those.
I think
you know?
I think just last year he was so in his own head about who he has to be as a
Yeah.
player. He's like,
And
I gotta do
also-
the same thing as last year.
And also
It's
like and also like the team was so bad last year.
Oh,
Like the
it was so
talent was like
dysfunctional.
there were so many just not NBA caliber players on the court at all times. Where it was like
Stanley Johnson's game.
yeah, it was just like
Oh,
like
man.
how could you get to the
Whenever
rim
Stanley
against-
Johnson got on the court, I just
Oh.
I had a mini anxiety
That's
attack.
like me out there. Like they're guarding Stanley Johnson how they would guard me.
Stanley Johnson was just sprinting up and down the court. Just he had like
down.
the worst tunnel vision I've ever seen, and just like constantly
He played 61 games for us last year. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
And
He played
he couldn't even dribble. Like he didn't like he
No.
he provide nice defense every once in a while, but his offense would just like take it all back. Like
Yeah, it was not very
It was
entertaining.
hard to watch.
It was very difficult
oh let's
to watch.
I'm in depression right now.
That's why I'm so happy that
Yeah.
we have
Scotty Barnes,
so
so
much
happy.
potential, man.
Yeah.
Like we just the team is so full of life
Bright
and,
spots.
and yes
Yeah.
and just that's why whenever we have a podcast after a game that we lose or anything, we're not sitting here all glum and chum because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like
No, there's always
we
bright-
know
yeah.
the team has very, very good potential to be good. Like look even with Isaac Bonga, man.
Yeah,
This guy
he's tearing it
just
up
got
right now,
called
yeah.
up.
And he's tearing it up in the G League.
Woo!
He looks
Like,
really good, yeah.
And how old is he? Like 21 or something?
He's young. He's been in the league for 3 years, but he's still 21 or 22, I think.
Yeah, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
You
He just
know?
turned 22. Yeah.
He's turned 22, and he's been in the league for 3 years. So
He did play on
2
the
years.
Wizards.
He was the youngest guy in the
Wizards.
league at one point. Yeah, it was
Wow.
Wizards, yeah.
he was one of those really young draft guys. Yeah.
And you know, and see, that's the thing is, of course, the Raptors are the
Was he
type
even
of team to
drafted?
try and pick up
Oh, yeah.
a guy like Isaac Bonga. You know what I mean?
Guy
Like,
who's been like who hasn't done anything in the NBA yet, but he's got these
Same sort of
intriguing little-
idea.
Yeah, he's got these intriguing skills. Can pass a little bit.
2 years away from being 2 years away.
same
you know?
sort of
Yeah.
idea that they had, I think, with Svi, right? Is that
Right, yeah.
Is that Svi was one of these players that had a lot of potential to be developed, but just didn't really have much luck with fitting on certain teams. You know, he was
Yeah.
on the Lakers, like
Nothing's
you know what I
nothing
mean?
clicked for him,
Yeah, like what? Like
Thunder, Pistons.
no, like Svi is the type of guy that you'd like to see on a team like the Spurs or the Bulls or the Raptors or you know what I mean, like
Right.
or the Bucks even, like you know what I mean.
He'd be great
like,
for the Bucks.
You know,
Well,
so
I wish he would shoot the ball more.
yeah,
Like,
but
just take the three, man. Don't dribble into the.
his
mid-range.
shooting's been better.
I
Has been
know.
better. His
I
shot
wanna shoot more.
selection,
He's shooting at a higher clip now than
I
he
know.
was.
yeah,
I
his
wish, like-
shot selection has improved, and he's hitting key shots for us.
Yeah.
He hit a couple. How many threes? I think he maybe had two. Did he hit 2 threes
Against
during
Golden State?
Golden State.
I remember he had one really nice mid-range. He had 1 3, but he had 2 other. He had a couple nice mid-range shots that I really liked. I just wish I want him to he's such a good shooter. Just look at the basket every time you catch the ball from 3.
Yeah.
Every time, be a threat. So they have to.
But then
obviously
again,
get
I think on previous teams he's played for, he's had to be a little bit more of
Yeah.
a role player. So
Yeah.
I think now it's like you do have a role, but it's not to conduct the offense.
No.
Like you know what I mean?
Like-
Like you can take a back seat and allow your teamites to create for you.
when Scotty and Pascal pass it to you, take the shot.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
I don't have any more thoughts from this one.
Elias, do you have any game thoughts you'd like to go over with us?
Wasn't much else I really had in mind about this game that we didn't talk about already. But I didn't think it was a negative game at all.
No.
I think we'll also
Better than the Utah game.
Oh, much better.
you can see our defense is better than it was last
I
week
think
or
so.
2 weeks ago.
It's also a really hard.
And you can see
Except
that
the
just
fact
with
that we're
the
losing Chem. I hate the fact that we lose.
Oh, for
like
tonight,
that,
yeah.
that we lose Chem tonight. I'm just like,
yeah, against
I hope
Steven,
he's such a-
Steven Adams too is a big
Yeah,
offensive
rock,
rebounder.
man.
Steven Adams might.
he's gonna expose
He
Precious
has a lot
so
of
hard.
he's an offensive rebounding god.
Oh,
Steven
yeah.
Adams.
Oh,
I hope if Kem's knee is
He's a
bothering,
big guy.
if Kem's knee is bothering him, let's just let him rest for a week or 2.
Do you know
Let's get
Steven
it figured out.
I just saw a quote from Steven Adams today, and they asked him what his favorite dairy product was, and he said raw milk,
Wait, what's?
straight from the
Oh,
source.
yeah, he's like a farmer. He grew up on a farm in New
yeah.
Zealand.
Oh.
Straight from
Yeah.
the source. He also has 16 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's got a massive family. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, my brother plays in the NBA. He's 7 feet tall.
Yeah. From the farm. Yeah.
Didn't you guys show me a picture of him when he came?
Yeah,
to
I
the
showed
league?
you that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he oh my god,
Totally
it's
looks
different.
crazy.
No
completely
tattoos,
different.
no beard,
No,
no long
no
hair.
hair.
He doesn't even look. You know who?
I can picture his voice using within that body. You know, his voice now, this
Right,
New
yeah,
Zealand
it's
too
voice,
deep, yeah.
and now I can't picture that.
No way. No way. Okay, so do you guys want to move on?
I was gonna say, just about our defense, is that we let Detroit score 125 on us, and now we're letting Golden State score less.
Yes.
And Golden State, and because it was all our I don't think it was Golden State did not have an off night by any means. It was our defense that's the reason they didn't score more points than they did. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a good
So
point.
so I think our defense is
It's definitely coming.
it is better. Which
See, our
that's
defense, I think,
that's a
works
highlight.
really well against teams like Golden State, who,
Yeah.
if you think about it,
With a guy.
who does Golden State really have as who's their center?
Kevon Looney, but he doesn't
Oh,
play
yeah,
crazy.
right.
He doesn't really play crazy minutes.
No,
so.
Draymond's usually there 5.
And,
Yeah.
and the
They
thing
close
is
the
when
Draymond.
I look at somebody like Kevon Looney and then I look at somebody like Precious, maybe when Precious is 25 or 26, I'm like, Precious can handle Kevon Looney. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
yeah.
that's not a
Well,
concern
I think it's more
for
though
me.
that we play really well when we play teams with a star because we should focus on shutting that star down, let the rest of the team beat us, and typically a team with a star who's paying that star so much money has
Right.
worse players, you know, versus the rest of the players. Like
Yeah.
Clippers, for example, like Paul George, a bunch of scrubs. I'm sorry, but I mean, I wouldn't say they're all scrubs, but you know what I mean, like
Semi scrubs.
semi scrubs. they're scrub level.
No, I mean, come on, man. They're one of the best teams in the West.
Reggie Jackson's
That's my team,
fine.
man. That's my team.
The Clippers?
I don't know, I like Paul George.
Okay,
And Tyler Lue. I
Sure.
like Tyler and Paul George.
sure.
That's it.
Whatever.
All right.
So are we moving on to
Performer of the week?
Performer of the week? Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Who wants to go first? I'll go first.
ahead.
Yeah, you go
Okay,
first.
so my performer of the week, and although it didn't represent very well in the last game, but it was Gary Trent Jr. because, and I decided to choose Gary because I think that we've just been seeing all the right things from him. I think like it's just I'm honestly even just so surprised right now talking about the fact that Gary is one of the best defensive players, or at least on ball we could say defensive players in the league,
Oh, yeah.
which is just crazy.
It's weird to think about.
It's so weird to think. It doesn't feel right coming out of my mouth.
Like this summer, I'd be like, shut up, man.
Yeah,
No, there's no way.
Like, it's just such a wild reality that is the case. And this is partially why, and this was talked about, but I truly do think that Gary Trent Jr. has all-star potential and potentially even superstar potential. I don't want to make bold predictions or anything, but the way that he's going at such a young age and the improvements and the drastic improvements that he's making so quickly, and think about how quickly he's developed shot consistency. You know what I mean?
Consistency is the. I mean, I think it's part of your question later, so we'll talk about it more later. But he's so consistent,
super consistent. And
Yeah.
the only thing about the Golden State game, I think we can say is, okay, he's been playing for a straight almost a month, really consistent.
Yeah.
And it's not that he what did he shoot in the Golden State game? What was his shot
It was
percentage?
like a 3 for 16.
Yeah, not super.
But that's
great.
gonna happen. Like that's
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
With a guy,
Exactly.
with that shot diet, there's gonna be nice where
You're
they still fall.
gonna miss shots.
Everyone
It's
has
all
bad
good.
shooting
Like, I'm
nights.
not.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 8 though from inside the 3-point line, which is a little weird.
It's too bad.
But I mean,
he
I'm
was-
not upset about
at
it
the
at all.
same time, what I wanted to say is watching him, because I didn't watch the entirety of the Golden State game. I think I missed the third quarter. But what I wanted to say from what I saw from Gary is I think Gary just I do think there was a bit of nerves for Gary. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, Gary is this type of guy who we really want to fit into that shooting role, and now he's going up against the best shooting team in the NBA, and I think he has a little, I think he's flustered a little bit. You know what I mean? Going up against Steph, you know what I mean, and even guys like Jordan Poole who are young too. Like the culture of that team, I think is imposes a lot. You know what I mean? I feel like
They're the Warriors, like they're the big name.
exactly, and I think that he might have felt a little bit of pressure to be that crazy 3-point
Go 3 for 3.
Exactly.
Like shoot every 3 Steph makes, I've got to hit one.
Exactly.
Steph didn't make them.
That's what I think, and just the way that he was moving on the court, I think I could see some hesitance and some nervousness and stuff that I don't usually see in his
Just
game.
an off night.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
off night. I think the way that we saw him play against Utah, the way that we saw him play against Sacramento, and pretty much any other team that we've placed this season is those little pull-up jumpers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, it's real close to the foul line, and any of those mid-range twos. He just is so confident and bang.
Well, I've got
pulls
some
it
numbers
up.
for you for that.
Okay.
Gary Trent was my performer of the week as well.
Okay,
For
good.
those mid-range shots. So Gary's game is 3-point and mid-range. He doesn't go to the rim. He only takes at the rim. He only takes 8% of his shots. But last year from basically mid-range, so from 16 feet to 3-point range, like that deep two, that's normally a very inefficient shot, and was one of my big problems with how he played last year. Was with his time in Toronto, he only shot 40%, but this year he's shooting 53%. And then from the foul line,
Oh my god!
the foul line distance last year he shot 39%. This year he's shooting 48%, and then he's shooting 37% from three.
God!
So he knows those shots. A lot of the guys
Elias is like, is this real? Like,
yeah, for a lot of those guys, that shot's a bad shot, but he knows when in the offense to take it, when in the
Yeah.
game to take it. He's not going up there hunting that. He's taking what the defense gives him. If
Yeah.
they're giving me the 3, I'm taking the 3. If they're not giving me the 3, or I have a matchup I can exploit, I'm taking that. He's got like a step
And
back
we've
working
seen
for
him
him.
hit some crazy
Oh, yeah.
shots.
He's a
this
tough shot
season
maker.
already.
Tough shot maker.
But like he makes
He
crazy
makes
shots.
those, yeah, he
Turnarounds
makes
on guys right in his face.
Yeah,
I
100%.
think I said last podcast where I think every time before he shoots, he like locks in for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's why like a lot of those guys with that sort of type of style, like a Jordan Clarkson type guy, they also aren't giving you anything on the other end. So with Gary, if he's because the off nights on offense are going to look bad just because of what the shots look like. But at least now you know he's giving you something on the defensive end, so he's not a negative.
He's not a
out there.
liability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've he was my performer of the week. I really liked how he played those first 2 games. Just played within himself, and when he gets hot, he's a really hard player to stop.
Yeah, very, very difficult.
Yeah. Okay, my point.
Other thing. He's a player that defenses have to change their scheme to start guarding him, and then that'll create opportunities for other people.
Yeah.
We just saw a top 24 under 24 NBA list by Bleacher Report that was made today. Gary was not on it, but Davion Mitchell was number 24. Davion Mitchell was on it.
How many minutes is he playing? Like 20?
He's just not as good.
Yeah, like he's not even playing well, but like it's just.
But yeah,
That's how it goes, man. They discriminate against
bro.
us.
No, you should have seen the article.
Horrible
Bro.
list.
It was like
Shea was 23rd.
Yeah, like,
And Evan Mobley was 7.
Dude, I would even
Evan
put
Mobley was 7.
fucking-
Tatum was 8.
yeah, Tatum was 8. Like
And Mobley was over him.
John
and
Morant was over
Tyrese
Luka.
Maxey was 5th.
yeah, it was like a total clickbait.
Yeah,
like,
it was,
let's get
Ja,
clicks.
Ja was. They put Ja at 1, Luka at 2.
Yeah, I bet they just put all the names like in a hat. And just, all right, you're next. You're
Luka's
next.
really, to be honest, not really that good. Like
Top 10 player in the league.
Well, okay. What I mean by that is that, like, if you have a good defense, it's not incredibly hard to shut him down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, if you guard him out on the perimeter,
But he does so
like,
much other than score.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, it's true,
I think
it's
that's
true,
more about
it's
the
true.
Mavericks than it is about.
yeah,
Luka,
it's fair. It's fair.
Or Jason Kidd.
I guess I don't really
Even
like
the
him, to
Mavericks
be
are
No,
honest.
I don't like him
I don't
either.
really like him.
No,
So.
I don't like Luka either. No.
I don't mind Luka.
I don't like
He's
having
kind of
him
boring to
around.
watch.
Oh,
but,
yeah,
like,
he's boring to
I just hate how he gets all these stupid calls and like
He just loses on the officials.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I don't like his attitude. I
No,
just
I don't. I'm with you.
I think he complains too
Oh,
much, man,
yeah.
and acts like he has more authority in the league than he actually does,
Yeah.
and it just
He's
makes me
an
mad.
amazing
It seems
player,
like-
but I
it
can't
seems
stand watching him.
But whenever he plays the Raptors, man, like they shut him down. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
you
that
know?
first game, yeah, like we showed him most of the game. Then he like came out
started
in the 4th quarter. or
playmaking
something.
like
yeah,
crazy,
but like
yeah.
Steven,
Like he's good, really good understanding when he's not shooting great, and he'll start doing other things for others.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
His IQ is very,
Yeah, as
very
much
high.
as I hate to admit it.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Fuck.
Damn, Luka Doncic.
Okay, so my performer of the week.
Yeah.
I can talk now. I'm joking.
Oh, good one.
No, actually, you know what?
No, we're muting you.
Meeting. My performer of the week is Kem Birch. I think so. We always talk about how Kem Birch is not a box score stuffer, right?
Right.
So his impact is always there, and like very noticeably there, and it still was. But also his box scores looked pretty decent this week. Against Utah, he had 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals, which I think is nice for him. But then when you get a Sacramento game, 10 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 blocks that game. And then Golden State, 7 points, 5 rebounds, a steal, and 2 blocks. So I just love the way he's been playing, especially with Fred and Scotty off the short pick and roll and those little floaters.
Yeah,
He
man.
It's so that's like crucial. We can just do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
And he's really
consistent.
confident in taking those shots. You know, it's so funny because I feel like Kem has never really been utilized in the way that
Exactly,
he is
exactly.
Or
being
at all.
utilized in
He's
the
not
in
been
the
utilized at all
Yeah, like,
on offense,
and because
we're actually using him to his strengths, and it's working out for us.
the thing is with a guy like Kem, a lot of teams I think expect him to be like, okay, well you're 6'9", 6'10", like
yeah.
you know what I mean, like you should be able to be taking shots, like you know what I mean, like you should be able to go out on the 3-point line pretty
yeah.
much anywhere and shoot, and like
Yeah.
that's not his game, that's not what he does. But if you allow him to make the decisions that he is the best at making,
Yeah.
he performs very well.
Nurses let him play to strengths, you know?
Exactly.
And like this game was 14 points.
We
versus
scouted
Utah.
him hard. We scouted him really hard. He was such a sleeper on Orlando.
These 14 points against Utah, it's against Rudy Gobert, right? Like,
Yeah.
and he's down there with him all game. Like he's making tough
Rudy
shots.
Gobert is
and-
some of the best defensive
Of all time.
of all time for
and
sure.
we're just he might be the best, like top 5. That's a big man of all time.
Yeah.
Maybe
He's won
top
3
3.
Defense Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But like just if we need a bucket, you just go to the little short pick and roll with Kem, and it's there every time. And I just think his impact was much higher than it usually is. And I was gonna go with Gary too, but I want to switch it up and
Give Kem some love.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I want to give
man.
Kem some
I love
love.
Kem.
So
we always come back to Cam. It always comes back.
How
to
does he
Cam.
not
so
love him? You
solid.
seem like such a great guy.
He's so
too.
solid.
man.
Like,
Yeah, like It seems like him and Harrison Barnes should go on a little date. You know what I mean? Like,
I also love how Cam like you can give him the ball in the mid post, and like a lot of centers will like Precious. You're like, what is he gonna do? You know,
that's such a
Kem's not gonna make a bad decision.
no.
Exactly.
Cam's gonna find an open guy, or he's gonna take a high quality shot, or he's gonna.
This dude's 29.
Things that
He's been
you,
playing
like-
basketball his whole life, right? Like,
Exactly. Like
knows
one of
what
the
he's doing.
concerning things that you see Precious do when you give him the ball in the mid post is like he has such a difficult difficult time deciding what he's gonna do.
I feel like
he'll like start dribbling
then
back
he'll
into
stop,
somebody and then
and
he'll
then
stop
he'll-
and then
yeah.
it's like, dude, there's like 5 seconds left on the shot clock,
Yeah.
man. Like they gave you the ball so you could do something with
like
it.
a lot-
If you don't make an immediate decision, you're screwing everybody else
a lot
over.
of guys can see the game before they get the ball, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. I feel like Precious doesn't do that, and
It
so
comes
then
with
he,
age.
yeah, it definitely does. But
And knowing and figuring out
can
his role,
You
too.
can just tell that every single scenario is going through his head at once, where he's like, do I shoot right now? Do I dribble now? And like all this stuff.
Right.
But Birch,
That's
he's like,
very true.
Birch, he gets the ball and he knows what to do right away.
Well, and defenders, especially defenders who have been in the league for a long time, know that. They can see that. They can
Little
see the
panic. There's a
mental
little panic.
processes.
You
That,
can
that
see
was
it in
almost
your
like what
eyes.
Draymond did to Scotty. He can tell he was flustered a little bit,
Yeah.
and he's
That,
gonna
that's
take
when you
advantage
jump
of
on it.
Yeah.
That's when you jump on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right,
Shout
there's
out
a
to Cam
little
Birch,
opening
man.
with the little opening with that. They'll just jump right in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really happy and I'm really hopeful that we signed Ken to a 3-year contract. So I'm hopeful that
I don't want him to be our long-term starting.
No.
center,
I'm
but
just
yeah.
saying but I want him to teach Precious. I want Precious to learn from Ken, because one thing that I still see from Precious is Precious can be very out of control. Similar to the way that Stanley Johnson used to, like, of course, different plays, but that same sort of
I know what you mean.
out of control style of
Trying
play.
to do too much.
Exactly. And
Tunnel
one
vision.
thing that Kem is so good at is that he knows his role, and he's so good at staying calm. You know what I mean? Like, he does not panic. Kem does not panic. And even when the shot clock gets down to crucial moments, he is not freaking out. If the shot clock, he'll put up something, anything. He'll do anything.
Yeah.
But even if the shot clock hits 0 and it's whatever, man, it's a turnover. Whereas somebody like Precious, I feel like, is thinking too much. You know what I mean? Like, thinking about the shot clock, thinking about the other players, thinking about himself, and then he gets lost and doesn't make a decision.
Yep. Shout out to Cam Birch.
Yeah, you can tell
Love him.
on fast breaks too, where he's like, "Okay, do I do this move, that move,
Yes,
move?"
yeah.
And then he just it's taking a charge.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Especially on like a 2-on-1.
yeah.
Like, he's
Ugh.
just like, he's like right there.
He wants like dunk. He wants to lay out. He wants to pass.
Yeah.
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 All
Yeah.
right.
No. Anyway.
Comes with time.
Yeah.
With time.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. What?
Oh, never mind. Did something just get brighter in here? Did you guys see that?
No.
Yeah, I'm tripping. Anyways, okay.
Questions?
Questions for each
Yeah,
other.
let's
Let's
Do
do
it.
it. Yeah.
All right. So let's start with Elias.
All right.
Or no, wait,
Okay.
actually. Well, I want to hear Elias talk more. I've been talking
Sure,
over
go ahead.
Elias the whole podcast. So.
No, you haven't. Come on.
Oh, stop.
Stop it. Come on.
a great question, Elias.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll just read yours
Yeah, just
off for you.
It's like, yeah, I was like, I don't know. I'll read it, actually. I'll read it. Elias, what's your interest? Let me guess.
I'm
It's
doing
this.
Yeah. My question's coming up, but you know what? I just kind of want Sam to
I'm
answer.
only- I am
you know what?
only
I'm just gonna
answering-
mute your mic there, Elias.
I'm only asking Luke my question.
Yeah.
It
It says, like, in our notes, it says, just for Luke.
It's like, okay,
for
Luke,
Sam.
so what do you think? All right. My question for Luke and Sam. So at this point, we're kind of the point, we kind of get the idea of what the Raptors are going to be this season. I feel
Yeah.
like we're 20 games in, we're like a quarter of the way through the season. So at this point, what do you guys consider a successful season for the Toronto Raptors?
Do you want that in terms of win-loss? Or do you want that
just
in terms...
What is, in general, what do you consider a successful season? So sure, win-loss, or just like, what do you want out of the season? If at the end of the season,
I
what
think
do you
if we
consider to be
can
successful?
make the first round of the playoffs and maybe have a run at the first round, I'm not saying that
Like,
we
not,
could,
like, not get swept?
yeah, not get swept. If we go to 7 games in the first round, I think that would be a success. If we win the first round, because the thing is there's a lot of fight in these guys, right? I mean, they're not going to go down easy. And we saw that even last season when they sucked.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They went to 7 games with
That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
was that the? I'm thinking about the bubble.
Yeah, I think
I'm
the
thinking
bubble.
about the
Yeah.
Sorry, my
It
bad.
almost felt like the bubble.
Yeah,
was
no,
last
they
year.
tanked last season.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
That's Stanley Johnson's season.
Yeah, but sorry, I mean the bubble season. That
Yeah.
bubble season wasn't great either. We didn't have a good roster that season either. So, like, what I hope to see is that a lot of these guys by the end of the season will have confidence in each other, and will want to be gritty and play a lot of good defense. If we can, make it to the end of the first round, that'd be great. If we lose in the first round, I think that's realistic. If we win the first round, I think that it could happen as well, depending on who we're matched up against. But then I don't think we're gonna go really much farther than that, to be honest. But
I think our best chance to get out of the first round is if we're a 5 seed. Now, I don't see us being a 5 seed.
No, we're too far behind at this point.
Yeah, I like because you got Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Miami, Philly,
Chicago.
Yeah.
It's true, but at the end of the day, I mean, you really never know what can happen, right?
Never know. But if they didn't even make the playoffs, would you think it's successful season?
I would. Like, so I judge this question off of.
It depends
I'm
on
not
how
even
I
looking.
feel, man, about how if I'm watching them at the end of the season.
That's what I'm saying. It's like what kind of like.
Okay. If I can watch the Raptors and not be disappointed by obvious mistakes and not see a synergy or a flow, I will be disappointed. I don't really think that's going to happen. You will be disappointed or
you won't be disappointed?
I will be disappointed if I don't see that stuff.
Oh, don't see that stuff.
But if I do see that stuff, which I honestly think we will, I don't even really think that there is a such thing as a non-successful season. I think we're not really playing extremely well right now, and I still don't even consider a lot of these losses a true loss in terms of what it means for the team going forward. But
I agree.
Yeah, I'm all like I'm hardly even looking at record. Like, I just want to see the young guys develop. I want to see improvement from the start of the year to the end of the year. Like if we finish as a 12 seed, I couldn't care less. Like, then we're getting a good pick. As long as Scotty Barnes looks good and Pascal and Fred look good and OG, like I don't care about the seeding at all.
Yeah,
I'd almost rather actually. I'd rather be a 12 seed than an 8 or a 7 seed.
I agree with that.
Just so we can
get
better
higher
lottery.
draft pick.
Yeah, and because I think we just might get stomped, and I think it's I don't know, but that's also good for the development though to maybe make the playoffs.
It is.
But I just think
at some point on our way to the championship, we're gonna get stomped to the playoffs.
Yeah, every team goes through that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be upset if we made the playoffs and got stomped because I mean this is a good look that we made the playoffs.
fact that you got there.
Yeah, exactly. The next year you'll probably get better.
Yeah.
I just want to see growth. That's all I want.
That's all I care about.
Development. And like if Scotty's as good as he is right now, but in the season, like I think it's huge for us. And then I want to see Pascal back to at least close to his All-Star year. Like that's that kind of vibe. Just things like that. OG and wanting him to be a little better.
I would love to see some great things out of OG this season.
Yeah, I want to see these All-Star looking spot. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying All-Star season.
I don't think anyone's gonna make the All-Star team just because of our record.
No.
But you know what an All-Star
I'd like to see the same type of development that I think we want to see with OG for pretty much every other person on the team.
Exactly.
I would like to see the same because we know the thing is with OG is that we've already seen him come so far in his game. I think if he was on any other team, he would barely be in the league by now. Yeah, there's no way.
He'd be in the league, but he wouldn't have that much opportunity to be as good as he is now.
Exactly, not even a chance. No. He'd probably be scoring like 8 points, 10 points per game, something like that.
Type thing on most teams. But if he was a rookie on those teams, that's what he'd become.
Yes, absolutely. But if we can see what we know to be true about OG with all of the other players over the next
meeting expectations for me so far this year.
Yeah, I think he's meeting expectations.
I loved how he looked before the injury.
I'm not disappointed at all. And then Scotty's heavily outdoing expectations. Yep. Gary's heavily outdoing expectations.
I love how Fred's looked.
Delano too. I didn't think Delano was going to play at all this
honestly,
year. He's a backup point guard.
I don't even really. You know what? I don't really think this is super bold, but I think that this is probably Fred's best season.
Best season.
I think that this is the best I've ever seen Fred play. You know what I mean? I think
on a consistent level.
Not because he didn't have the skills in the last couple of years. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't a little bit, but it's mostly because the opportunity. Because Kyle's the man. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to sit here and say that Kyle wasn't overshadowing somebody like Fred literally because we needed him to. You know what I mean? Like
that's just the role.
Exactly. And to see Fred, you know what? I think he plays a similar role to Kyle Lowry, but I think he adds his own flair. Fred is a different kind of player than Kyle. You know what I mean?
The speed and athleticism Kyle has or used to have.
No,
I loved how he's looked.
Fred's efficiency is so much for this year too.
It's actually my answer to
what?
It's actually my answer to Luke's question, but.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it.
Okay, sure. But so should I say what I was going to say or no?
No, go ahead. I'm not going to add anything though.
Okay, I was going to say like his efficiency in every category is better except for like one like little one, but from like right by the rim, he's up 70% from shooting. He went from 53 to 60%.
Wow.
And that's around the rim, right? Like layups when he's 5'2". And then from key
Sam
from
just didn't even
free throw
fucking
to
laugh at that.
he's like, well, yeah.
Cold.
I'm so in on the numbers right now.
From key to 3-point, he's shooting 63%.
Wow.
So it's like those pull up
Jesus.
mid range he does,
Holy.
63%, and he's shooting like
incredible.
10% of his shots, or that's a shot he's taking 10% of the time.
Wow.
That's a lot.
He looks like an actual point guard this
Yeah.
year, and I didn't think he had it in him.
Me neither. I thought he was gonna be like CJ McCollum.
Yeah, and I really like what he looks awesome.
Yeah. And even 3-point shooting, he's shooting 30% so far this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick.
Numbers.
When you said the numbers thing, all I could think of was fucking Alan from Hangover and like the math behind his head.
when he's counting
When
cards.
he's counting cards.
Are you looking
yeah.
at Fred VanVleet's mid-range
We like
efficiency?
make a joke. You're not even paying attention. You're just you just got these math equations happening.
Mid-range
Carry the
efficiency
one.
numbers,
Yeah.
pull-up efficiency.
Whoa.
So
Fred
if we
Van.
average the statistics of the last 3 years of it. Okay.
Do you want to
what-
do yours now? Because
Yeah, sure. So I don't even have my question.
want me
Do you want to just read my question?
yeah, Luke's question is: who do you think we will see the most consistency out of this season, based on what we've seen so far from the guys this season?
That is my question.
What's your answer, Sam?
My answer is boring, but it's Fred VanVleet.
Okay.
Because I think in the past his game, well, actually he's always been a really good defender, but this year he's really taken a step at every night. You're going to get really good point guard play from him. He's going to keep the offense flowing as best as it can flow. His 3-point shooting is always there, and with those added other numbers we just talked about, is a mid-range efficiency that also just gives him so many more tools.
Options, tools.
Like they can't just shut him down from 3 and he's not affecting the game. He's affecting the game with his playmaking, with his scoring at all levels now. He used to really just affect the game from the 3-point line. And I think Fred always is giving you a baseline level of elite defense. I think he's one of the best defensive guards in the league, and he's also giving you really, really steady point guard play.
Yep.
I can't disagree with that answer. Not at all.
My answer to that question is Gary Trent Jr. Because
I was
every game.
I was hoping you guys wouldn't both say Fred.
No, because Gary. I was thinking Fred too, but because Gary.
Who wasn't thinking Fred? You know what I mean? Like he's just such a solid guy.
Literally though, like who wasn't thinking Fred right there?
If you were thinking Fred,
Give us a
turn
like.
off. Or no, sorry. If you weren't thinking Fred, turn off this podcast. We
And if
don't
you were, leave a like and comment that you were.
yeah.
Subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you thought Fred VanVleet when Sam said this question. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you guys get your podcasts.
And smash that noti bell.
Smash.
Break your screen.
Wait. Smash the fuck out of it.
I pick Gary. I pick Gary because every game he's gonna make his shots, right? There's that that Golden State game that was 1 in 20.
Every player has those.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. Like, you can't say someone's gonna
Every
be
player's
amazing
multiple.
all through the year, you know.
Like Curry scored
bad
12
game.
12
Yeah.
Yeah,
points.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So no, I think Gary's always going to be there. He's always going to be ready to shoot. He's always going to lock in on the shots. And his defense is going to be there every single game. He's going to be hustling hard
Yep.
every single game. He takes no games off
No,
from what I've seen so far.
he doesn't. He
No.
absolutely does
No.
not.
And you can tell he's always locked in. He wants to win the game. And
I really hope that attitude never leaves. I know young guys have that, like,
Well, that's what I mean. Where because he's 22, there's a lot of guys within that age range where some games you'll see them just like not caring.
yeah.
They'll be like,
They get down on
they'll
themselves
be
and
like,
they miss
oh,
a
I
few
missed the
shots.
last Gary last game 3 for 16, but his defense was there all game and he was still locked right in.
If Nick Nurse to play for Nick Nurse, you need to play defense.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're out of this world on offense, and that's
And even then,
So
it's just-
if you have a bad shooting night, you better lock in on the other end.
Yeah. So Gary's my pick because he's been there on both ends of the court all season so far, and I don't at that point I can't believe that'll change. So
Very consistent in his role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very satisfied with both of those answers. I was hoping somebody wasn't gonna go Kim Birch. I'm like, that's such a boring
No,
answer.
he's
Even
very
though
consistent, yeah.
he's the
Facts,
probably
but-
Yeah.
like, extremely one of the most consistent players he's ever played on
They're
the
just
Raptors.
not like a elite level.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad you didn't say Pascal Siakam. Sam.
Yeah.
You see, almost did
I was between him and Fred.
consistency. I shouldn't have said anything.
Like overall.
Shouldn't have said anything.
Get
the debate going.
Yeah, well,
watch the last episode.
we'll clear
of that.
some space in my living room. You guys can have a fight after this. Have a wrestling match.
Well, my
Scores
question.
3 points and 25 points. That's not consistency. Get out of here.
My question's gonna involve a lot of the guys on the team. It is, how would you rank the Raptors young players? And you can think of young players however you want. I listed OG Scotty, Gary, Delano Precious. If you want to throw Malachi in there, you can. And then Fred and Pascal, you can throw these guys in there. But if you
Are you
think
saying
they're-
rotational young guys?
Yeah, like young guys you think will be on the team in 3 years.
Okay, yeah.
How do you rank them for their potential 3 years down the road? So I don't know if you guys want to throw Pascal and Fred in there because they aren't really young.
I think
guys.
Fred.
No.
I think Fred will. I guess, but they're not young. They've been there for too long.
Yeah,
now.
no.
So okay.
Even OG, I don't know if
So
I'd throw OG.
Yeah,
I think
no,
OG can be in there.
You want to throw OG?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think OG's
he's been there so
obviously
long.
going to be with the team for another 3
Oh no,
years.
yeah,
But no,
all
I'm
these
saying-
guys are.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
the idea. But I'm just saying, OG's been at this so long at this
Wait, so
point.
what's the
So
question, sorry?
how are you ranking OG, Scotty, Gary, Delano, Precious for potential in the next 3 years? Who do you think is going to be the best out of those guys?
in 3 years?
Okay, wait.
who'd be the best?
OG, Scotty, Gary,
Delano,
and Precious.
I would put
Oh
Malachi
my
in there,
God.
too.
You want to
See,
put Malachi
this
in?
is-
You can
Yeah,
put
put Malachi
Malachi in
in.
there if you
We'll
want.
put
This
Malachi
is
too.
why I think the Raptors can be so good, because this question is so fucking hard
know.
to
I mean,
answer.
there's no wrong
Not
answer
a lot
here,
of
but-
teams can ask a
No.
question
And we
like
still have Fred
that.
and Pascal too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Fred and
exactly.
Who I don't believe. Well, Pascal might have hit his peak, but they're still both. I don't even know if they hit in their primes yet.
Yeah, totally.
And their base level of play is also like really, really good. So,
Yeah.
yeah, how would you
I'd
guys
like
rank
to
them?
hear from Elias first.
Sure. I can't put anyone else here over OG right now in 3 years.
That's what I was interested about. Yeah.
Because I mean, Scotty obviously could be better in 3 years, but as of right now, I don't want to say OG won't be better than Scotty in 3 years, just from what I've seen. But I think Scotty will be. I think Scotty has superstar potential, like, for sure. That's like I consider superstars to be the top 10 guys in the league at superstars.
Okay.
So like I'd say LeBron, Kawhi, like just the big Giannis,
the best
KD,
players, yeah.
the best, even like Damian Lillard's like on a verge superstar level.
Right.
Like I don't know
if you
gotta
can be the
call him
best player on a
superstar.
championship team.
Yeah, you're a superstar. So I think Scotty has that potential. I don't know if cause I also think OG can be an all-star in 3 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Scotty's going to be a all-star in 3 years
Right.
yet. So in 3 years, I'm going to say OG first, then Scotty, then Gary. Then after that, it gets a little tougher for me
Mm-hmm.
between Precious and Delano.
And that's where
'Cause
I'm confused too.
Yeah,
that's
because-
where I'm just like. Actually,
For me, Gary was. I thought Gary was
I-
gonna be third for everyone probably.
Yeah.
And I wanted to
Yeah.
hear what your top two and then your next two were.
Because I think
I've already got mine.
Do you? I think Delano might have a bigger role than Precious will in 3 years. Because I don't think Precious is going to be our starting center
Right.
in the future. I could see him being I think Kem could be gone at some point by 3 years. I don't think he'll be on the team in 3
Right.
years.
Okay.
I think Precious definitely could be, but it won't be as a starting center, I don't think. And then Delano, I don't think he'll be a starter either, but I think he definitely has like 6-man potential.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Sean Livingston type of role, like for real. Like, so I think Delano than Precious.
Except shooting more threes.
Hmm?
Except shooting more threes.
And then
Well, yes,
Sean
yes,
Livingston,
yes.
yeah.
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 But,
Sean Livingston wouldn't even
Sean
look at.
Livingston-
I'm not
directly-
saying. No, I'm not
Yeah,
saying.
mid-range.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying.
mid-range.
I'm not saying a Sean Livingston player.
No,
I'm
I
saying
know.
the role.
I know.
I'm saying the role.
Yeah.
It's still similar types of players, still top point guards.
Yeah, they come off the bench and lead the
Yep.
team off the bench.
And so you have Malachi last then.
Yeah, Malachi.
Yeah. I didn't know if to include him or not. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna be on the team.
I mean, I can still see him being over Precious. Maybe. Like Precious, I don't know what to think about Precious in the future
Yeah.
yet.
Really?
I'm so polarized on
Yeah.
him. 'Cause
Yeah.
He could. I don't know. I can't see him. I can see him getting really good. I also can see him not getting much better.
Okay, so I definitely have OG first. When it comes to Gary and Scotty, I'm torn because just the fucking crazy amount of improvement we've seen in both of them has just been so hard to. Because who knows? Maybe Gary might break. I think in the next 2 years we might
Gary
see.
could definitely break out.
I
dude,
think
like,
Gary might break out maybe just a bit before Scotty, because Scotty's still.
The reason
Gary has his role already, you know what I mean? Whereas Scotty is like, we need to. It's not that he doesn't have his role, but I feel like it's
harder role to learn.
It's
Like,
hard,
and-
and it's for him. It's so specific for Scotty that I think that it's really gonna take a while for him to get used to all the different types of things he's gonna need to do.
Right.
Whereas Gary doesn't need Gary doesn't
what
need
Gary's
to have
now is what Gary will be.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gary doesn't have as wide of an array of skills that he needs to be responsible for on the court. Whereas Scotty, like we just said, we can see him out in the 3-point line. We can see him in the mid-range. We can see him down low. Like, we can see him everywhere, right? So we need to develop every single area of his game, whereas we don't need Gary Trent Jr. taking sky hooks down.
That's why I had OG over Scotty, because I think OG, what his tools he has now is what.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just improving those tools at this point. But Scotty's supposed to learn a lot of things.
Right.
The reason I have Scotty over Gary is because, like we said, I don't know. Like, Gary could break out, but I think it's a bigger chance that Scotty breaks out than Gary breaks out in the next 3 years.
Okay.
That's why I put Scotty.
And that's the
Gary.
thing is, I
breaks out.
don't know. I really don't know how to answer that question. So I think
when I say breakout, by the way, I mean like in an all-star way. Like, I can see Scotty being an all-star over in 3 years over Gary.
True.
Personally.
A little bit of that might be league bias, but who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. I can't really decide whether I want to have Gary over Scotty or Scotty over Gary.
So who do you go with, Delano and Precious? Then?
I definitely was gonna pick Delano first, and that's just because.
Do you think Precious?
I went Precious over Delano.
Really?
In my opinion, yeah. I went OG, Scotty, Gary, Precious, Delano, Malachi.
But the thing is, for me, is like, and a lot of we can never be super hard fast with our opinions because anything can change when it comes to a team like this. But the only reason why I chose Delano was simply because we literally thought Delano would be in the G League almost all year this year. You know what I mean? Like, Precious, and we've said this, I think needs some time in the G League. You know, whereas I think that Delano.
I think Precious is more raw than Delano right now.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
And they're both super raw. But I think Delano, I trust Delano more in an NBA game than Precious.
Right now. Absolutely.
I do too.
Absolutely. So why would you say Precious?
I think I've liked, when I'm looking just for potential, I've liked the pure flashes from Precious more. Like, I've shown you sort of high level flashes.
When we're talking ceilings, Precious has a higher ceiling than Delano.
Yes.
But he also has a lower floor than Delano.
Yeah, I just think, though, like, when you saw him, like, the last 2 games, that's his floor. Well, it should be his floor of him just rolling and
But I'm saying floors and career-wise.
Right.
Like, I think there's a higher chance that Delano has a better career than Precious, but also, I think, but as far as having a great career goes, Precious has also more of a chance.
So I guess I was looking more on
that.
And like I was taking into account like the really crazy flashes we've seen from Precious, and then also just the way.
Like he started the season with like a 15.
I think a type of player like Precious can impact a game more than a guy like Delano. If Delano's shot doesn't develop, I think Precious can impact the game without a jump shot.
I think Delano's shot will develop.
It absolutely will. There's no way the Raptors are not going to develop his shot.
Yeah,
and he's already confident enough to start taking them.
He's made a good amount of threes, and he had like he made like 2 or 3 mid ranges last game.
Just a note I want to say about Precious though. This guy needs to develop his hands, man. He cannot catch the ball.
Serge Ibaka
I don't know.
hands.
I don't know what the
Serge
deal
Ibaka
is with his hands, dude. But jeez, man. Like,
no, it actually frustrates me so much.
It's useless, pointless turnover.
Nice pass to him and he's dropped.
Sometimes he looks like Precious.
How's that even possible, man? Your hands are so big. Like, how do you?
And you see him like he's got a decent handle for a big man too, and you're like, well, that works, but how does the catching know?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like if maybe he's like not looking at the ball when he's catching, he's like looking where he is.
Yeah,
right. It just comes down to rushing.
He's one of those players.
I think rushing.
Exactly. It's like he's ready to make the move before he even got the ball.
Yeah, he's trying to go like.
I think he's trying to do so much right now, and I think that's why the last 2 games he's looked really good, where he's just settled down and he's trying to do like one thing at a time.
I egregiously agree with you.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Egregiously agree.
Egregiously agree.
You guys want to look ahead?
Stop kicking my mic, man.
Sorry, man. I'm trying to put my foot on the table.
Leave me alone.
You know what, man? You've been harassing me this whole time.
You haven't let me speak.
You kick my mic.
Okay, so what do we got next?
Look ahead? Yeah.
Okay.
We can look ahead.
Sure. We got Memphis, Toronto tonight. Well, this will have been
starting
completed after,
in like 5 minutes.
This will be completed after the podcast is released. Things I'm looking for. Steven Adams is going to kill us.
He's going to kill us. But yeah, he's such a good offensive rebound.
And it'd be nice to see if Yuta can get some minutes in his first game back.
I wonder if he will get minutes.
Nick Nurse said, I saw a thing saying he's going to try to get him some minutes.
Will he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like he's going to play a lot, but he's going to get him a few to work him in.
I've been so sad how long Yuta's been
I know.
out,
I thought it was
man.
just going to be a little thing, and it's been so long. Yeah.
It's it makes me nervous and sad. I just love Utah so much, man.
Yeah, you guys think Giles gonna have a big game? Or you think he's gonna get shut down?
I think he might. I hope we go under the screens.
If he shoots well, then yes, he'll have a good game.
I'm scared we're just gonna trap him or go over the screens on him. He's just gonna blow right by us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If we can go under the
extremely
quick.
explosive.
And
Oh god, yeah.
Like that's where
Extremely.
teams like Utah is because he'll blow by, but Rudy Gobert will be right there. But for
Yeah.
us, we don't have anybody in that lane, right? So if we
Especially
get
their
blown
cam,
by,
yeah.
and if we get blown by, and Jaw's really
That's
good at
true.
doing
And
it.
it's Gary Trent Jr. under there. Then
And if he
he's
has
getting
a-
jumped over.
Yeah.
And if he has a
Yeah.
good shooting night, we're kind of fucked. But
Yeah.
Like shooting, you mean jump shooting wise, like 3-point shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memphis does have a really bad defense.
no,
though,
I
so-
mean like with a gun. Like if he just
Oh, okay.
brings
Well,
a
I
gun
know- I
to
didn't know
the
if you
arena
meant- I thought-
and just starts shooting.
Yeah, the other
people.
type of shooting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
No, I
we're gonna
thought-
have
I
a
know
really
if you meant,
tough
like-
time with that.
I don't know if you're like, I don't know if you're like field goal percentage
Just
or
Nick
just
Oh, yeah.
shooting.
I know. Also, Memphis has a really bad defense, so Toronto might be able to exploit that a bit.
Yeah, I think Pascal has Jaren's number on the perimeter.
He has killed him a lot.
Yeah, and just the fact that he's like, Jaren's not very good on the perimeter.
Jaren fouls so much, and Pascal's been getting to the line a lot.
Yeah.
So he might.
Pascal could have a big game
Yeah.
tonight.
So then, what's the next game?
Raptors,
we
Pacers on Friday.
The
We
reason-
played the Pacers so many
have? So
times.
the reason, yeah, I
Third
know,
time.
so weird. The only
That's the
reason
last time we
why
played, I
why I would like to see us against the Pacers is because our beginning of the season was so weird and all over the place that we're a little bit more settled down now, and I'd like to see us, even if we might not be as good. I'd like to see us play the Pacers because we did have competitive games with
We
them.
beat them both times, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys,
And,
we beat them both times.
Or we lose the second
no, we
time.
lose.
I
No,
think-
I think we
I think we
lost.
might
I think we
have lost
lost.
second
We
one.
lost the second time. Yeah.
I thought we won and Scotty hurt his finger.
Ooh, no, wasn't it against the Knicks? He hurt his finger. No, we didn't
No,
play
he
against
missed
the
the
Knicks.
next
That was the
game.
next game. Hold on. I'm not
Or
sure.
did we lose the? No.
We blew them at the
no,
first
because
game.
no.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we lost second game because didn't what's his face score a fuck ton of points on us. What's his name? The main guy on the Pacers. Sabonis, yeah.
The
Domantas
second game? I
Sabonis,
don't
yeah.
think he had a crazy amount of points.
I know he had like 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot, but we shut up. We kept him to 2 the game before.
Hold on. We won both times. We won both times.
Okay.
Well,
Second one, we only won by 3 though.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really curious to see how we're gonna play again. The Pacers aren't one of the best teams, but Chris Duarte will be interesting to watch.
He's in
the doghouse right now.
He's on the bench now.
Really?
Yeah.
Not very good.
I hope he can
anymore.
break out.
He
you
fell
know,
off.
I gotta root for him.
Sad.
Canadian
But
guy.
yeah, I guess we'll see. I'm curious to see how we can play against. If we have a good game against the Pacers, I think that's gonna give us some momentum.
Yeah.
Springboard going
Yeah.
home. So we're gonna be home for a little bit. So
Exactly.
We're playing. We have a few shaky teams coming up. We got Pacers, then we got the Celtics, Grizzlies again. Are like back and forth on wins and losses. I think in Milwaukee, which would be kind of tough, but yeah.
Milwaukee didn't start the season very good
No.
though.
They
so
were injury riddled.
they're starting to pick it up though. So
Yeah,
we got him at the wrong time.
Middleton and Holiday are
Yeah.
back.
It's true. Okay, so
Nice.
is that all we have for today?
That's all I've
I
got.
think so.
Any thoughts? Closing thoughts? Anyone?
To go Raptors.
We the North.
Okay, well, before we head out of the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere else you get your podcasts, make sure to leave us a rating and also leave us a review. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at RapChat Podcast, where we post new clips of this show every week. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Luke Dick.
I'm Elias Eldridge.
I'm Sam Kenny.
All right, see you guys later.
Peace.